Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. Hope everyone had a great week, and I hope that you are having an even better weekend. All right, we're going to get straight to today's show. The title is Show Up and Show Out. And the topic is how to be the best as an author. Well, being the best of yourself as an author doesn't just happen, right? It takes effort and consistency and confidence in your craft. And the phrase show up and show out, it isn't just a catchy saying. It's a mindset that separates those who dream about success from those who make it happen, right? So, we've sort of talked about for the past couple of episodes about dreaming and wishing on stars and how ineffective that truly is. But to be the best as an author, you have to do what the title says. You have to show up and you have to show out. So today, in today's episode, we're going to talk about what that means. Okay, so I think the first thing, and we'll take the first part of the title, show up. Well, you need to show up even when it's hard, because every successful author, they know that showing up daily is half of the battle, right? Whether it's writing a few pages or editing chapters or promoting your latest release. Discipline is what keeps your author journey alive, right? So there will be days when inspiration feels like it is miles away, but consistency, it turns ordinary writers into extraordinary ones, right? So the second point I want to make is on the second part of the title, and that's showing out. So in showing out, that means that you need to let your talent shine, right? So once you put in the work, it's time to show out, right? That means having confidence in your voice, in your stories, and your abilities. So don't be afraid to stand behind your work proudly, okay? Because you need to promote your book with all the enthusiasm that you had while you were writing that book. And you need to share your writing process. Now, that doesn't mean that, you have to share excerpts of your book unless you truly want to. But you can just give updates on where you are in your writing. Let your followers know that, okay, today, I managed to get 4 or 5 chapters done. And I mean, that's saying a lot if you can do that in a day. That to me shows extreme progress in what you're doing. Okay. And then the second thing is that you need to, again, engage with your readers. Okay. And let them know as well where you are in the process of what you're doing. Because when you believe in yourself, guess what? Others will too. And I think the third part in today's episode is to invest in your growth. Okay? Because being the best means never settling for good enough. Okay? Because you're always better than good enough. You should always aspire to being more than just good enough. Okay? Because good enough may work for some, but it doesn't have to work for you. You could always be the best at what you do. And that means that you have to invest in your growth. Okay. And in order to do that, just a suggestion, you can take writing workshops. Don't ever feel like that you have mastered your ability as a writer, because I always see growth in anything as an open or closed fist. If the fist is closed, that means that nothing can get in. But when that fist is open, that means that it allows room for growth, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to take those writing workshops. We want to study other great authors. There's nothing wrong with that. With studying how they write, those particular parts of their writing journey, their strengths and their weaknesses, and what they write and how they work. And you need to read on a daily basis. When I first started writing, that was something that I didn't do a lot of. I stopped doing it because I didn't want my thoughts to reflect what I was reading. But as I grew as an author, I saw how detrimental that was to what I was trying to do. So you need to read as many books as you can on a daily basis. Because it strengthens your vocabulary. It can strengthen your style, because you can learn from others. You don't have to copy what they do, but you can most definitely learn by how they do it. Okay. And then you need to stay open to constructive feedback. And I know how hard that is for a lot of people, because, we're human and we don't like to hear about our weaknesses. And constructive criticism is not about showing you your weaknesses. It is about helping you to see where your strengths are through those weaknesses, okay, to build on that, to make it better. Now, I'm not talking about criticism that just flat out calls you the worst writer ever and why did you ever get into this business. I'm talking about that constructive criticism, that constructive feedback that actually helps you to grow as a writer, okay? Because growth doesn't stop after your first publication. It does not. It is an ongoing process that shapes you into the author that you're meant to be. Okay. So the next thing is that we need to build authentic connections. And, what I mean by that is that, authors, they thrive when they connect with readers and other writers and the literary community, and when they attend those events, and they participate in book discussions, and a great part of that, when we go and to support other writers, we need to celebrate their wins, okay? Because their win is like a win for us, and it just makes sense to do that, okay? So when you show genuine support, that energy always comes back around, right? And I am a big proponent on positive energy. Okay. I glow from it because, I love positive energy. And, I have been accused of just being the most positive person ever. My coworkers, she would say, it was one coworker in particular, she would say, I would ask her, how are you doing today? And she would just say, I'm here, and I'm like, well, yeah, you are here, but, you woke up this morning, you were able to make it to work in one piece. You're talking to me. And, she was just one of those people who were pessimistic about everything. She just did not thrive on positivity. And to me, energy, good energy, is positive energy. Okay. And I like to, I like to give that out. So when you give out good energy, it most definitely comes back to you that way. Okay. And then the last thing is that a lot of us, we feel guilty about owning who we are. It's okay to own your greatness. Okay. It's okay to feel good about it. You're not flaunting it. What you're doing is you're celebrating. It's okay to celebrate yourself. If you can celebrate others, you need to start with celebrating yourself. It's okay to do that, okay? So don't ever downplay your success, because every completed book and every reader's review, every milestone is a step toward your dream, okay? And you need to celebrate them. Celebrate them with your family, celebrate them with your friends, celebrate them with your followers, with your readers, with those people who support you, and even with those people who don't support you, okay? Or those people who support you grudgingly. That is when you need to celebrate the most, okay? Don't ever downplay your success to make someone else feel better. Always feel better about yourself. Okay? Feel good about who you are as a person first and foremost. And then as a writer or whatever your profession is, you need to feel good about it. Have confidence in what you do, because let me tell you, when you have confidence in yourself, it shows in everything that you do. Okay? Showing out, it means walking in your purpose with pride. Okay, so knowing you've earned every bit of it through that hard work and your heart. Okay, so I just want to end today's episode again on a positive note, because I'm all about that positive energy. I try to stay away from anything that is negative or drains me of my positive energy. I try to stay away from people who have a negative attitude about everything. They never see the good in anything. It's always, the worst. And I try not to be that person. I try to, to give good energy. And if I can't do that, if I don't feel energized, I keep my mouth shut. I'm silent, because, in no way do I want to give off bad energy, because that affects people just as much as when you're giving off good energy. So try your best to always do your best, and to be, keep a good perspective, and always be present in what you do and who you are, because that is so important. And being the best that you can be as an author, again, it means showing up every day with dedication and showing out with passion, okay? Because your words do matter. Your voice is unique, and your presence does make a difference, okay? So go ahead and write boldly, and then shine brightly, and let the world see the incredible author you are. All right. So guys, that is it for the show today. And again, I just want to reflect all the positivity in today's episode. I want it to flow from me to you. Okay. And I would also appreciate so very much, and thank those of you who always listen, who always download my episodes each and every week, to not only download, but to listen, to like, and to share, because that's showing love. That's showing that positive energy, because, you're giving back what I'm trying to give to you on a weekly basis. And as I always say before I always end each and every episode, is to remember to tell those who you care about the most how you feel about them today, because tomorrow is not promised, and it may be the only chance you get to say it. So on that note, I love you. I hope you love me back. And until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you, and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.